I'm in touch with the guys from VisionMan BTC.com, and they're donating a few things technology-wise. And here's one thing I think is good. Imagine if we had a 50 terahash auditing cluster, and that was making a sizable, income. If a program were suddenly like, well, our federal funding is going to run out, what do? A mining group or a mining cluster could be directed towards that program for a specific length of time to make up that funding. Okay, we need $100,000 this year. Okay, and allocate it towards funding that. Social programs. Again, Bitcoin has the ability to come in and impact all of this. It's like, I hate to say it's the cure-all, end-all, but in a lot of ways it is. People are waking up to the reality of fiat currency, and they're saying, okay, well, if this doesn't work, what else is out there? Well, we are.
So, Brett, I have a question for you. Now that you're sort of new to this conversation, and you've lived your life under the rule of the federal government, the Federal Indian Act, the prison camps, and all that. With this new technology, how does that make you feel?
That it's time for a change, and that there is a change that could be made to implement something other than what people are used to. Kind of like what I was saying before. People are so used to that mindset. Some people are so used to that federal money that they're afraid of anything different or anything, a change of any kind. Once they're shown that there can be something different that can be just as good, if not better, I think that it's going to change a lot of people for the positive. Not only with the Pine Ridge Reservation, but also the other reservations, and eventually worldwide. So I see it as being a good thing and something that needs to happen. So.
Yeah, I think one of the things I was going to mention is for a lot of people that don't understand the prison camp reference, the Pine Ridge Reservation, the Pine Ridge Agency was it was a military prison camp for our people, but that was like in the 1800s. But a lot of us go back to that because historically that was the fact, but it doesn't have to be that way anymore. A lot of people use that, I don't want to say sympathy, but we need to, get past all that. We need to go forward, and we need to realize that, hey, we have the future in front of us. A lot of people put this on the non-native community, and specifically the white community. And I think in the 1800s that was a viable argument. Back when the Indian Wars were going on, we could say, yeah, it's your fault. But it's 2013. If we haven't got off our ass to do something for ourselves and for our own people, that's our problem. We can't put that on anyone else but the man in the mirror. And this, again, is a chance for us to show the world we have the ability. The Northern Cheyenne tribe and the Lakota bands, all 7 of them, along with the Arapaho, were the ones that historically beat the United States military at the Battle of Little Bighorn, along with other battles. But we're the only ones in history that can say that we have successfully defeated the United States military on more than one occasion. And it wasn't just one battle. We forced the American government to come forward with a peace treaty and say, hey, we've had enough. We want peace. No one in the history of the world that I know of has ever been able to do that to the Americans. And now we're getting ready to do it again with Bitcoin. We are going to force the fact that Bitcoin is a viable currency for our area. If you don't want it in America, that's fine, but your boundaries end here. This is our area, and this is yours. Our area, tribal law, takes precedence, and we will use Bitcoin because it works.
One last question. There's a video series that's been started by IGM Productions. It's been interviewing such people as elected official Kevin Killer, J.R. LaPlante, and now we've had Floyd Hand of the Treaty Committee, of the Treaty Council, and in there's been one commonality in there, which has been education and with such people such as J.R. LaPlante and Floyd, is the Christian values have diminished Native values, but Floyd referenced that a little more to say that education is important, but to think with the left and right brain, because give and take is part of the deal. There's glasses that you get glasses, cars are from the white man, the Indian gives, and certain white people are starting to turn back into the cultures. What, as Native people growing up, do you believe, as just people, are very important to the 7th generation now in school?
I don't know, that's, I think about that one.
Okay, well, while he's exercising his brain, you know, we are the 7th generation, and I think it's important to, you know, understand our history, understand our past, understand where we've been, so we can plan and plot out where we're going. Again, we have to, you know, look past the historical traumas of the past, remember them, obviously, you know, have reverence for them, but use them to build a foundation for the future and future generations.
Well, we need to improvise, adapt, and overcome.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was like one of the big things with the ambulance service.
Yeah, back in the ambulance days, improvise, adapt, and overcome, and I think that's what our generation needs to do, is improvise. We can't base everything on the past. Like you said, we have to remember it, of course, and, you know, respect it, of course, too. But it's time for a change. I mean, this is 2013. It's time for a change.
Yeah, and there again, I think the Bitcoin community as a whole is really good at that. Like with the paper wallets, one person brought up the fact that, well, what if you don't have a smartphone, you don't have a laptop? You know, you've got, you know, the paper wallets, like that one right there.
Yeah, but can someone steal this from somebody else?
Yes.
But what I'm saying is it safe?
Actually, the way these work is the fact that on one side it would say like load and verify, and someone would go and they.
Oh, so it has a spin side and a verify
Yeah.
side. Okay.
And then the spin side is the private key attached to that account. So these are paired together. So like this one would be different from that one, which would be different from the one that Mike put up there, which will be blanked out, so nobody tries to get anything out of it. But, you know, adapt to overcome. You know, for the people that didn't have a laptop, didn't have a smartphone, we adapted. You know, paper wallets. Like in China, where they won't be able to use third-party payment processors. People can load, you know, Bitcoin onto paper wallets or onto their phones, and they can travel there and set up, you know, open outcry trading pits and still trade with each other. So the whole system is designed and is open source. So if people see something wrong, they can go and modify the code and become, you know, a new update. You know, updates come out all the time, and people, you know, identify issues, and, you know, they adapt to them and they work together to overcome them.
So I guess my final question would be, and we need to wrap this up, where do you see this project a year from today?
A year from today, I would really like to see Bitcoin and pretty much just cryptocurrencies in general be the norm for the reservation. So, you know, for the average tourist or for the Bitcoin community that want to come to the reservation to kind of see how it is, they can know in full confidence that they can bring their Bitcoins and they'll have places to use them. You know, and just have Bitcoin take its rightful place alongside, you know, other currencies as, you know, a legitimate method of trade.
Okay.
Cool.
Cool.
Cool.